Hey folks, Gway. I found this picture yesterday on Twitter. If you're listening to this video and not able to watch it, what it says is this: no liar, greedy pig, pope, atheist, secularist, sports buff, potty mouth, LGBT supporter, contentious woman, self-lover, pothead Muslim, whore, drunkard, porn lover, homosexual, hardcore gamer, adulterer, gambler, or Bible hater enters heaven! Exclamation point. Revelations 21:27. Now I'm going to do a couple of videos on this picture today. They'll both be very different, I hope. So please come back for the second one. But I want to talk now about a little bit about what Revelation 21:27 says. And then I want to share a story about some of the words that are used in Revelation 21:27. Revelation 21:27 says, nothing impure will enter it, the New Jerusalem, the city that God will bring to earth towards the end of the book of Revelation. Nor will anyone who does what is shameful or deceitful, but only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life. When I read this passage yesterday, that word impure grabbed me. And I remembered reading it before. Now, by the way, I'm reading from the New International Version of the Bible. But that word impure grabbed me. And I remember thinking about a story in the book of Acts. It's in Acts chapter 10. It's that story where, and it's actually, there's two parts of it really. The first part is Cornelius, who's a Roman household. He's a centurion, God-fearing man, but he is a Roman. So he worships many gods. He just happens to recognize the God of the Jewish people as well. He has a visit from an angel. And the angel says to Cornelius, go and send for Peter. Send for Simon, who is known by Peter. And bring him to your household. And have him teach. So Cornelius sends some guys. They go looking for Peter. Now Peter, at the same time, he's on the roof of a house, it says, and he's feeling hungry. He's noshing a little bit. But supper's not ready. And it says he falls into a dream. And in that dream, a blanket is set down in front of him, and on the blanket are all kinds of animals. All kinds of animals. And he hears a voice saying, kill and eat. And Peter, looking at what's in front of him, like lobster and clams and that kind of thing, he says, no, Lord, nothing impure has ever entered into my body. I won't do such a thing. And the voice responds to him saying, do not call impure something that I have made clean. The Bible goes on to tell us he has this vision 3 times. Now, after the 3rd time, he hears the guys at the door looking for him. So he goes down and finds out what's going on. They say, well, our master, the Roman centurion Cornelius, has sent for you. He wants you to come. He wants you to come to his house. And so Peter, he goes. We sometimes read this passage and we hear that because of the dream, Peter is being told that there are no more impure foods. That all the dietary restrictions that his society, his culture, his people have been living under, they're gone. That God has told him he can eat whatever he wants. Good news. Lobster's delicious. But it's more than that. And Peter's encounter with Cornelius shows us that this lesson that Peter learned on that roof, do not call impure something that I have made clean. It's a very, very broad teaching. It's extremely broad. Peter, verse 27 says, while talking with Cornelius, Peter went inside and found a large gathering of people. He said to them, you are well aware that it is against our law, Jewish law, for a Jew to associate with or visit a Gentile, a non-Jew. But God has shown me that I should not call anyone impure or unclean. Not my place. It's not my place to call anyone impure or unclean. And this he learned from the lesson on the roof about the food. Do not call impure something, someone that I have made clean. So when Peter walks into that room, and remember, these are not believers. They called him to hear the teaching, to hear the message, but they are not believers. They are Romans, they are Gentiles, they are Greeks, but they are not Christians. They are not followers of Jesus. They're not even Jewish people. Peter, walking in that room, knows that according to the law of his people, he is not supposed to be anywhere near them, that he would be determined to be unclean himself, that these were impure people to be around. And it didn't matter. He wasn't to call them impure. And the fact that he stayed in that room and goes on to teach them all that he knows means that he didn't consider them impure either. He didn't see them as impure. He didn't treat them like they were impure or unclean. So why is it that we Christians may judge another impure or unclean? Why is it that somebody would feel the impetus to create and to hold up a sign like this? Why is it that we would say that all these different sorts of people will never enter into the city of God? Who are we to make that declaration? Who are we to make that decision? Who are we to treat people like that? No, Peter gives us a wonderful example to do exactly the opposite. Set aside our judgments, set aside our considerations, set aside our knowledge, and just be with people where they are. Be with them as they are. Be with them regardless of how they identify. Be with them however they may behave, however they may live, however they may act. They are not unclean. They are not impure. And even if they are, it is not our place to make that declaration. It is our place to love them. When we find ourselves in a position where we are saying that this person or that person or the other person, I mean, look at that list. I'm on that list at least a half a dozen times. I'm going to go to hell because I'm a Boston Bruins fan? Okay, there's probably Montreal Canadian fans out there that are saying yes, but I'm not. No. It's not our responsibility to declare one person or another clean or unclean. It's not our place to treat people different because we consider them to be clean or unclean. It's our place to go to them, to spend time with them, to offer ourselves to them, regardless of whether or not we consider them to be qualified, whether we consider them to be worthy, whether we consider them to be righteous. Peter, walking in that room, choosing to spend his time teaching them, recognizing that God had spoken to him and said, "Do not call something impure that I have made clean." It reminds us that we have no idea how God has chosen to perceive someone or something, and therefore we should reserve our judgment. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that we would restrain ourselves, that we would keep ourselves from living according to our judgments about who is or is not clean, about who is or is not pure. That we would spend more time welcoming people into the presence of God and less time trying to keep them away. Amen. Numultus.